And hello YouTube, back again, SentinalhMC here for more Space Engineers. Okay, so we pick up right from where we left off, obviously. Looking at my assembler here, and I've suddenly forgotten what button to push to get into it. It's K. Okay, we got 47 out of our 63 steel plates because we don't have enough iron to make into steel plates. That's okay. I should have enough blocks to build a basic platform. Now you'll notice that when I first place the block, it only places just a little scaffold. That little scaffold only requires one steel plate in my inventory. So while I don't have enough to finish these, you can just place and plan out a really big platform or structure out of steel, and then just start grinding the ship down, and then just add the steel to it to finish it as you get it. So we're just going to grind a couple of these blocks off. There is no atmosphere system. There is no sealed ships. There is nothing like that. This is survival mode, obviously, and my health is just my energy in the bottom left you see on my HUD. If that energy ever drops to 0, I will slowly start to suffocate and die in space. That's really the only requirement that you have. That's the only requirement that you have. The developers have said that they're not really focused on making. I don't expect them to add a food system or anything like that. They want to make the survival aspect a bit not the main focus. The main focus is on the building.
Storm inbound.
Yep, another meteor shower. They come at random intervals, so even though this is not a difficult world that will have a whole ton of them, they will come quite regularly. But I think it's random. I think there is a minimum interval. Anyway, if I was programming it, the way I'd probably do it is have a minimum time interval based on the difficulty level you're set to, and then randomize when they actually show up. So as you can see, we're having a second meteor shower. If I was playing on a seed where I was outside and not behind asteroid cover, you can see that I'd be getting pelted right now. It would be pretty bad. We're gonna start grinding down these thrusters because we don't need them. I'm not moving the ship anymore, and I'm in the process now of taking it apart. If I hold shift, I can move all of something into the inventory. I have also increased. No, I'm going to keep those. I've also increased the speed of grinding and welding to 2 times. Just once again, just to keep things moving. Because if it was all set to realistic, this would be a very, very, very slow-paced let's play. But then again, I don't want to make it so fast that it's just kind of ridiculous. So I think that 2 times, which is the first option, other than realistic, is the best option to choose. Check this out. These inverted corner blocks have more steel plates than these slope blocks, which have more steel plates than the little corner blocks, which makes perfect sense. Let's get this down. Alright. So the first thing I want to build on here is a small reactor. Because I need power. And I will place it like this. The reason I'm going to place it like this is because I want to be able to connect it straight to the refinery on one side, but I also will want to have the other trapdoor showing so that I can manually access it from the beginning. Not necessary, but I'm going to do it that way. Okay, let's find the refinery right here. Refinery is really big. Very, very big machine. hard to fit onto ships that are hard to fit onto small ships. That's pretty big. So what I have to do here is I have to line up the little trapdoor that you see there, where it says the little yellow door, with the yellow door on the nuclear reactor. And once that's with that lined up, the two can pass their inventory between each other. So notice the refinery had a door over there. It has one right here, and it has a door right here, and it also has a door right here. Actually, if I move this, now I'm moving this on this side. Then I also want to build an assembler, and the assembler is much smaller. It's only 2 blocks, and then I just want to line the assembler up. And I'm rotating these, of course, with the buttons you see at the top there. You can obviously rebind those, but I've gotten used to it now, so those are the buttons that I'll be using. Yeah, I want to put this, I think, over here. That will connect right there. Yep, there's a door there. You can kind of tell on the scaffold where the doors are because that's where the holes, these big square holes that are always the same size, the square holes here. The refinery has a lot of holes on them. Alright, there we go. There's also another machine that I'd like to make, and that is the arc furnace. The arc furnace is like a refinery, but it is easier to build. It doesn't take as many resources. And it can't refine. It says arc furnace there, but here it says blast furnace. It can't refine all the materials. It refines a couple of them. I know it refines iron into steel. It actually does that faster than. Oops, turned my HUD off. Tab. It actually refines. I believe it refines iron faster than the refinery. I think I'm gonna put that right here. I like the look of the arc furnace. Kind of neat. So this is going to be my sort of starting. This is going to be my base. I need more steel plates so that I can place down the rest of the frames for the floor. Bit of a lag hit there. Still recording at a pretty stable frame rate, which I like. The game is intensive in certain ways, but this is going to come off if I grind that, so I better grind this first. If you have a block attached to another block and it's the only one that's attaching it, and you grind off the block, then the other one will start to float away because it's no longer part of a grid. So you gotta be careful. You don't want to cut your ship in half and have part of it just floating in space. It's a bit annoying. Because the way to put that back together involves involves a couple other blocks and grabbing it with something else and maneuvering it into position. It can be a real headache. So you want to put those there. I definitely want to put it like that. We'll go like that. Block there. Block. 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 Okay, this will be my my first platform. I kind of like it. I think this will work. It doesn't really matter where everything is, just that I have everything. Putting these floors in is going to be kind of annoying. So what I'm going to do, probably, is... okay, here's what we should do. I will mine up some more iron and get that processing in the refinery. My goal, of course, is... Okay, so those ones flew away quite quickly. Oh, come on. Come back here. I seem to recall these rocks having higher poly counts and looking nicer, which I don't really care about because the fact that because they were nicer looking, they also took up more processing power, which I don't think, which is really quite unnecessary when all it is a little rock. So it's probably because of my render settings, but I'm actually quite happy. I actually quite like the fact. Oh, no, I'm used to it. I actually quite like the fact that. Okay, we've got 8.39 uranium ingots, which should be enough to last a long time. I quite like the fact that we currently have enough power for 7 hours. Let's go in here and turn off all the thrusters. So we're going to grab these thrusters, It tells you what direction they're facing in, which is nice. It didn't used to do that. We're going to put them all on a block group, which is one of the ways that you can control your ship systems. Put them on thrusters. We're going to turn them off. We don't need the thrusters, so there's a off. 13-hour fuel time. So that kicked the fuel time right up. Grab some more of these. Put these in the... No, we don't want to put those in the assembly. We want to put those in the cargo container. It puts them... Your shift clicking puts the items... Tries to put the items in whatever machine you currently have... You've used to access it. So because I used this door to access the inventories, my shift clicks put the items into the assembly. But I didn't really do that. So. Assembler has some iron. Refineries. Alright, what's going on? I thought I put iron in here. Oh, okay, I got what happened. It was, it started, making more of these. Ugh. I'm confusing myself here. Not the game's fault. I'm just a derp. Let's go to this side and we'll just, we'll work our way forward for a little platform. Another cool thing you can do is you can just, as soon as you, if you notice here, there's no steel plates. As soon as I click, it automatically puts all of the steel plates that I have onto it, which is actually really, really helpful, because what that means is that you can just quickly grab some materials, put them on the block or machine, then go back and grab some more materials, put them on the machine, and once you've got all the materials on the machine, then you can weld it up, which is generally what I do, and it works out quick. I'm gonna keep digging in this little hole here because it'll help stop the rocks from floating away into space. Well, into the chasm here, into the chamber. Grabbing them inside the little tunnel so much easier than grabbing them in the open.
Inventory full.
Oh, inventory's full. Yeah, Dead did not used to have that voice. I quite like the voice. I think it's neat. Computer systems in sci-fi series and movies and stuff, they always either had a male voice that sounded really intense, the computers did, or they had a female voice that sounded really sensual. I find. That seems to be the way. One of my favorite movies is Galaxy Quest, Tim Allen. And I really liked the... you know, they had one of the crew members, her entire job was just to repeat what the computer said. Which, not really quite, not really inaccurate, because that movie was obviously a satire, comedy movie, using tropes from actual sci-fi, other sci-fi series. Speaking of tropes from sci-fi series, I recently watched a supercut video on the Jog Wheel channel, which you should totally check out, by the way. What he did was, he took... I gotta get some more iron. He took Star Trek Voyager, I think it was. He went through Star Trek Voyager and found every instance of when somebody said the words some kind of, or some sort of, because apparently they say that all the freaking time in that show. A couple graphical errors there, seeing through the wall, but that's bound to happen with irregular voxel-based geometry like this. Because inventory's full. Because in that show series, apparently they were constantly using that phrase to refer to things, and I think they were over like I'm not sure how many, but I think it was somewhere around like 500 instances of that. They really, really use that phrase a lot. Okay, so let's go count how many blocks we have left to make, just so I can tell the assembler exactly how many. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, 10 blocks. Obviously, if you see, I've got a gravity generator here. If you look at the bottom right, you can see the gravity readout. Currently, there's 1G of gravity pointing straight down from where I am. And that's inside this ship. That's why I can turn my jetpack off and walk around. If you were outside of gravity field, it'll turn red. And now if I turn my jetpack off, and I look, my guy's just sort of flailing around. Okay, so we'll tell the assembler that we want to produce 10 of these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10. And we've got enough resources. Well, we don't have enough resources. It requires 5368 iron ingots. We've only got 88 available. I really like that it lets us know that. We are going to just grind some more blocks off the ship, though. Which means I won't need all 10 blocks produced by the assembler, but we can still leave it like that, because I'm totally going to need more steel plates. Steel plates are definitely the most used resource in this game. More things require steel plates than anything else. And just because you're going to be building your ships out of these armor blocks primarily, so you're going to use a lot of steel plates. Yeah, I just really like that supercut video, even though I was never really I've never really watched Voyager all that much. I remember growing up, my dad used to watch Voyager. My parents are really big into Star Trek. I never knew my mom was a Star Trek fan until recently, but my dad always was. But yeah, he would watch Voyager, and then sometimes I would watch. I liked it. It was cool. I've always been a fan of Next Generation, but then we recently were watching Deep Space Nine because like they had every single episode of Deep Space Nine on Roku. So after my dad got a Roku, and we noticed that they had like the entire series of Deep Space Nine, we started just like binge watching it. And eventually we watched like the entire series. So I really like Deep Space Nine. Basically just because that's my favorite now, just because that's the only Star Trek series I've ever watched in its entirety. Although I'm not sure I saw every episode, I definitely saw a lot of episodes. But as a kid, I remember Next Generation most. Because I never saw the original series. That was a bit before my time. And by then, that wasn't being actively watched by my parents. So Next Generation, totally my first exposure to Star Trek. See, I grew up watching Star Trek rather than Star Wars, so even though I really like Star Wars, I think I've always kind of liked Star Trek a bit more. Just because it has that nostalgia factor for me, but Star Wars doesn't. I mean, it's gonna be nuts when I say this, but I've never actually watched. I never actually watched the original trilogy of Star Wars. I've actually never watched. I've only ever actually watched one Star Wars movie, which is Phantom Menace. Which I don't know. Do people consider that the worst one? I don't know if they consider that the worst one or the last of the prequel ones. I think any of the ones that have oh, what was that guy's name that played Anakin Skywalker and everybody hated him. I forget his name, but I guess he was just full of teen angst and people didn't like it. Is that one considered the worst? I don't know which one's considered the worst. It's not that I actively have avoided Star Wars. Quite on the contrary, I've just never, you know, acquired the movies and sat down and watched it. Okay, so if you're wondering, because I turned on that thing that will make this ship disappear, I don't know what would happen if I took this and turned it into a station. So I don't want it, because you can do that. I don't want to risk it disappearing. That's why I'm going to completely disassemble it and basically reassemble all of its functionality down here on this platform. So now that I have the platform built, Although I do need to add a couple more blocks because I need room for this medical bay. I can start disassembling the machines, and well, I can do that in the next episode because that's the end of this one. So I hope you guys enjoyed this second episode of our Space Engineers Let's Play. I'm SentinalhMC, and I'm signing out.